What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Counting Wisdom podcast, the Bible Wisdom YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about how in the book of Acts, it says how we shouldn't concern ourselves with the times and the seasons that our Father has placed in His hands. And I think that is really good, other than I don't think Jesus is necessarily saying, don't watch for his return, but, because we're told in many other places in the Bible that we should be watching and ready. And I think watching involves a lot of, looking at the signs of the times and, preaching on end times and researching end times events. But at the same time, I think why, scriptures are not necessarily filled with, exactly those I guess scriptures which would say, hey, these are a lot of the signs that you need to be looking for. I feel like Paul and Peter, touched on it a little bit, but at the same time, they gave kind of a general overview of the end times. And so I think for us today in 2023, we should take what Jesus said in the book of Acts. And, when the apostles asked Jesus, hey, Jesus, are you now going to return, the kingdom over to God, and are you now going to set up your kingdom? And that's when Jesus said what he said about not, being concerned about the times and seasons which are in the Father's hand. And I think we can learn from that today, because I think, we can be too kind of obsessed with the timing of maybe the rapture or the timing of the end times events. And I think this can have us thinking in an inappropriate way. And I think it can also cause problems and doubts especially when people start to give dates or times of Jesus' return, saying, it's going to be during Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish feast, Rosh Hashanah, or, it's going to be in September, or it's going to be during this certain year, 2024, 2025. And I think that, there is a lot of problems that come with following someone who is, I think for sure talking as if they're for sure about the end times, talking as if they know, exactly when Jesus is returning. Now, I personally like to talk about end times, and I think, the scriptures talk about both of, I believe, having a balance in, how we are viewing, the end times, and, how we are, navigating, the signs of the times. But I think we just have to remember to keep certain things into perspective, but also not saying, one way or the other of, having that extreme that I made a podcast on a few times, that, hey, you're saying to yourself, oh, I know Jesus isn't coming. That's not wise according to the scripture either. Making statements like, oh, hey, I know he's not coming in 20 years, or I know he's not coming in this year or next year. The Bible warns us against that too. And so I think trying our best to find that balance when we are navigating end times. I think, if you're only watching Rapture videos, you only want to watch someone that's saying, hey, the rapture is here, the rapture is coming, I think that you're missing out on a lot of great teaching, because I think the Bible covers a range of different topics, and especially, you know, there's more that we can learn about God, and I think that, having a balanced approach, not forgetting that we're in the end times, but also, having that balanced approach of, hey, let's talk about, what Jesus did. Let's talk about Jesus' ministry here on earth. Let's talk about God and his attributes. Let's talk about, other things in the Christian life, because you may have some special need in your life right now where you need, a financial message. You need a message about suffering, or you need a message about living an abundant life, or you need a message about overcoming obstacles and challenges. And I believe that, if you're just having an end times view of, you only want to watch people that are saying that we are in the end times and that it's the last days. Well, we know that already, but I think, the purpose of this video is trying to just have a reminder out there that have a balanced approach in your study, of the Bible, and not just studying end times events. We need to talk about sanctification, our holiness walk with God, which I think end times can definitely play a big part. And so there's just so many topics that I think go along with the Christian life that we would do well to not forget. And so thanks so much for checking out this video. I think that, I like to throw a Rapture video up there ever so often, but I think also, some of my earlier videos were more about the Christian life, and, and also just, daily encouragements each day for those that, need it. And so, check out that verse in the book of Acts. I think it's in the first or second chapter of the book of Acts, when Jesus, has his recorded words in those earlier chapters before he gets taken up into heaven. And so, because one thing I think, I'll say this real quick, one thing about the signs of the times is that you can't necessarily pinpoint exactly when Jesus is returning. I kind of talked about this in another one of my podcasts, is that, okay, when we see earthquakes, you can't just pinpoint one earthquake and say, oh, I know this is the earthquake that gives me the sign that Jesus is just around the corner. Or when a natural disaster happens, you can't necessarily pinpoint exactly, when this event is going to tell you that Jesus is coming. I think we just have to have that knowledge that, and belief that Jesus is coming. But, even the lawlessness that is happening in the world, it doesn't necessarily tell you exactly when Jesus is returning. It just gives you that closer assurance that, he could be closer than ever, for sure. But, I think, it can be hurtful to a lot of viewers when you have these Rapture videos out there that are giving that false hope that, the rapture is, in 2024, and every year they make this new video saying that, hey, the rapture is in this year, or, hey, I know the rapture is, No, I think that is kind of a false teaching that is out there, that we have to, guard ourselves against, because then you can start getting bitter towards God, and start to not change your life because you're having that expectation that, hey, I'm going to be taken out of here, so I don't need to work on my problems. When I believe that God has victory for us right now, in the here and now, that I think we do have to work at it. I think there are things that we need to do in our Christian walk, but if you're just constantly expecting that you don't have to worry about your issues because the rapture is happening, then I think there's a problem. I know there are some channels out there that every single video he'll make a video about the rapture, saying that the rapture is happening, or the signs of the times, or I think sometimes for us that enjoy end times and enjoy rapture videos, I think people are actually afraid of phrases like it's the end of the world, or the signs of the times are coming. Not that we should change our message so much because of that reason, but I think that there's a better approach than just preaching that the rapture is happening when you actually factually don't know when the rapture is going to happen. And we could be old when it happens. We could also go to our grave and be raptured as a resurrection. And so I just want people to work on their problems, rather than trying to find an escape from your problems through some sort of false teaching that is out there. So thanks so much for checking out this video, and I'll talk to you on the next one. See ya.